Hi everyone, Mace here, and today we're talking about Harmony. This sea anemone is one of the most popular Splatoon characters, and for good reason. She's got an amazing design, she's the lead singer of one of the most popular Splatoon bands, she runs the cool furniture store, and she's ADHD incarnate. Which is why I'm in a bit of a tough spot here, making a video that's meant to expose her dark secret. So, if you are a hardcore Harmony fan watching this, then I ask you to please just watch this video to the end, and then you can leak my home address, okay? Yeah, so I do not like Harmony. In fact, you could go as far as to say that I'm a bit of a Harmony hater. To be honest, hey, get out of the comments section! I just told you to watch the whole video before commenting! Actually, while you're down there, be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it, and consider subscribing to the channel if you want to see more. I talk a lot about Splatoon stuff here, so if you like Splatoon, then you'll probably like my channel. Where were we? Oh yeah. The reason that I dislike Harmony isn't because of something petty like thinking she's annoying or not liking her personality, since I actually find her personality pretty relatable, since I'm something of an ADHD incarnate myself. No, see, I am a massive Splatoon lore fan. I have all the art books, I've read all the developer interviews, and I basically have the entirety of Inkopedia wired directly into my brain. So my reason for disliking Harmony is a lore reason, and if you know anything about Splatoon lore, you know that it can get very dark very quickly. There is a very good reason as to why I dislike Harmony, and by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what that reason is, because I have a theory that, if true, could reveal Harmony's true identity. One that's not some spacey and easily distracted girl, but a two-faced, lying, manipulative monster. But we'll talk about that later, because first, we need to provide some context. So, if you follow Splatoon lore, you'll know that the art books are basically the Splatoon lore equivalent of the holy texts. One of these art books, and the art book that this information comes from, is Haikara Walker, which is basically the Octo expansion art book, but it also has a bunch of other info that is actually pretty important in understanding the overall culture of the Splatoon world. But there is a catch, and if you follow Splatoon lore like I do, then you already know where this is going. That's right, it was only released in Japan and was written entirely in Japanese! I love being a Splatoon lore fan! Thankfully, there is a translated version online, which I'll link in the description alongside all my other sources, since I could not have made this video without this translated version. Anyways, one of the segments in Haikara Walker talks about the various bands of the Splatoon world, as well as the members of those bands. One of the bands talked about in this segment is Chirpy Chips, the band that Harmony is the lead singer for, and this is where things get interesting. Let me just read the info about Harmony aloud to you, and by the way, Harmony is called Paruko in Japan, so that's why it says Paruko up here. In charge of the band's visuals. Because her singing voice is altered, she does a lot of lip-syncing during live performances. She moves peculiarly while singing and talks in a loose way between songs, which is secretly popular among fans. Because she doesn't feel as motivated as the other members, she is often late for practice. She coexists with a yellowtail clownfish on her head, but it's dying of neglect. What is happening to this clownfish? Haikara Walker doesn't give any more information on this. It's literally just dropped at the end of the paragraph about Harmony like, oh yeah, by the way, the fish on her head is dying. No big deal though. And the only other time this fish's condition is mentioned is in this piece of concept art from the Splatoon 3 art book, which says that it has a symbiotic relationship with Harmony, but is in despair due to not being protected by her hair. So this fish is barely mentioned in the lore, and whenever it is mentioned, it is always stated to be in really poor condition. So there is clearly something going on here. But before we go any further, I want to talk about the symbiotic relationship part of this concept art. So symbiotic relationships are pretty common in the Splatoon world, like with Annie and Mo and Flo and Crayman. In real life, symbiotic relationships where a larger organism provides protection for a smaller organism, and the smaller organism in turn helps out the larger organism, are pretty common among various animal groups. And it seems like the symbiotic relationships in Splatoon are pretty similar to those in real life, as shown by this concept art of Crayman putting a blanket over Flo while she's sleeping. But it seems like some symbiotic relationships in the Splatoon world aren't as beneficial as others, which brings us back to Harmony and the clownfish. Instead of protecting the clownfish, Harmony is neglecting it to the point that it's dying. And speaking of the clownfish, there's something else about this clownfish that I left out until now. Haikara Walker says that this is a yellowtail clownfish, but if you take a look at the clownfish, there is no yellow anywhere on its body. Now, you might think that this is only the case in this one picture, but it's not. In every single picture of art that shows Harmony, this supposed yellowtail clownfish is always shown as completely black with no yellow coloring whatsoever. Now, there are species of black clownfish that exist, so they could have just said that the clownfish on Harmony's head is just one of those species, but no, Haikara Walker specifically states that it is a yellowtail clownfish. I don't think that this is just a random coincidence. I think this clownfish's irregular coloration for its species is intentional, like you're supposed to focus on it. Now, if I was a normal person, I would just look at the fish's color, read that it's dying, and be like, oh yeah, this fish is definitely dying, it's lost all its color. But when has a Splatoon lore fan ever been called normal? I wanted to be absolutely certain that this fish's color is a sign of it dying. So I did what any normal Splatoon lore fan would do and spent half an hour
researching clownfish just to be absolutely sure that the clownfish lost its color because it's dying. And after extensive research, I found that yeah, fish losing its color is a sign of stress or malnutrition and can lead to the fish dying if it isn't treated, and this fish is very clearly not being treated for its condition.
And what's even worse is that this clownfish is most likely a sentient being, and not just some kind of pet. Going back to symbiotes again, we know that the other symbiotes are capable of talking and understanding the world around them, as evident by their dialogue being relevant to the current situation and stuff. So it's realistic to assume that Harmony's fish is also sentient. So what Harmony is doing to this fish is already bad enough as is, but the fact that this fish is most likely a sentient being as well makes it infinitely worse.
What is happening here is that instead of protecting this clownfish that is a sentient being just like her, Harmony is neglecting it to the point that it is dying. And people still like her?
And now that leaves us with just one question. Why won't the fish just leave Harmony?
See, I always thought that something was up with Harmony. I always found it suspicious that this fish is still with her despite the fact that it's literally dying, but I never had anything to back up those suspicions.
That was until October of 2024, when Splatoon NA tweeted this. Halloween is tomorrow. Harmony is a fan of colorful candies, and rumor has it she gets a boatload of them from her bandmates. How convenient. Nothing too out of the ordinary, right? I thought so too, until I read the Japanese version of this same tweet. Fixing the auto-translation a bit, it says, "Tomorrow is Halloween. Surrounded by colorful treats, Harmony seems very happy. Apparently, she forces her bandmates to either give her sweets or be subject to cruel tricks, and she extorts huge amounts of sweets from them every year."
And after reading this tweet, suddenly, it all made sense now. It might not seem like it at first, but I believe that this tweet is the missing piece in solving the mystery of Harmony's clownfish.
The thing is, I've actually had this theory for years. Before Harmony became a shopkeeper in Splatoon 3. Back when she was just the lead singer of Chirpy Chips and was still called Paruko because they hadn't localized the band members' names yet. When I first read that paragraph about Harmony and how the clownfish was dying of neglect, I knew that something was going on here. And now, I think I finally have enough evidence to form a conclusive theory. Now, when I first read that tweet from Splatoon JP, I thought that this behavior was a little out of character for Harmony, because judging from her personality in-game, she does not seem like the type of person to play tricks that are specifically described as cruel and extort candy from her bandmates. Hell, she doesn't even look like she knows what extortion is.
It seemed to conflict with what was presented in-game, but then I realized, what if this conflicting information was intentional? What if it's supposed to be out of character for Harmony?
What if Harmony tricking her bandmates into giving her candy is actually her true personality slipping through? I know it's silly that I'm using a tweet about Harmony stealing candy from her bandmates as evidence to accuse her of abusing a clownfish, but just bear with me, please. Yes, you could say that Harmony neglecting this fish is just due to her easily getting distracted and spacing out, but after reading the tweet from Splatoon JP, I don't think that's the case. I think that Harmony's spacey and easily distracted personality is all just an act she's playing. It's a facade that's used in order to hide her true, more sinister nature. I think that Harmony is not only fully aware of what she is doing to this clownfish, but she is doing it on purpose. I think that Harmony is manipulating and threatening this clownfish into staying with her against its will. The reason the fish hasn't left Harmony yet is because it can't. It's afraid that something bad will happen to it if it tries to leave. Harmony is basically holding this clownfish hostage. Here's what I think happened. I think that Harmony and this clownfish used to have a normal symbiotic relationship like the ones we've seen before, but somewhere along the way, the fish found out about Harmony's real personality. Harmony knew that if people found out about this, then she would most likely be kicked out of Chirpy Chips, so she manipulated, threatened, and forced the fish to stay with her at all times to ensure that it never told anyone Harmony's secret. The fish is being neglected by Harmony because it's being punished by her, and the reason why no one else has commented on this clownfish's condition is because to them, there's nothing wrong with it. Harmony most likely tricked everyone into thinking that the fish was fine. So this poor fish will most likely spend the rest of its life being held hostage by Harmony, unable to tell anyone about Harmony's horrible secrets and living in constant fear until eventually it dies from neglect. Thank you all so much for watching. I want you to know with 100% certainty that this is all just a silly little thought exercise that I did and should not be seen as canon in any way. I also want to apologize to basically every Harmony fan on the planet. If someone watches this video and ends up making a call-out post on Twitter about me, I just want to say that I'm sorry for slandering your Blorbo. And no, I don't actually think Harmony is secretly a manipulative psycho that's holding her clownfish hostage. And if anyone in the comments wants to disagree with my theory, then I'm totally fine with that as long as you don't be a dick about it. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!